I greet you. Welcome back, everyone. The Angry Chicken, the podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. I'm Garrett Weinzerl, and I am joined by Willie Dills Gregory and Miss Jocelyn Moffat. Welcome back, guys.
What up? I'm
How's it going?
Tired but pushing through today. I had the longest weekend I've had in a long time.
Oh, man. You and me both. I started off great. You know, went and got sushi, watched Mad Max, which was amazing. Everyone go see that movie.
Yes, I hear.
And then I drove over 3 hours to go get an antique chandelier for the upcoming wedding.
Oh, yeah, the upcoming wedding.
Yeah.
Wait, you need your own chandelier?
It's going to be outdoors.
Don't they already have lighting wherever you're getting married?
No, because we're doing it in a barn in my parents' backyard.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
So the answer to your question is no.
You're going to fancy that barn right up, huh?
Yeah.
With a nice chandelier?
Yeah.
Oh, are there going to be like Christmas lights and stuff all sparkly?
Yeah, we're going to hang lights. So we got on Pinterest like manly men do and looked at outdoor weddings, and finding old piece of crap chandeliers and hanging them in barns for outdoor weddings is a big thing. And we found one. It's huge. It looks like it should be hanging over like a knight's table where they gather and conduct war strategies. I'm very excited about it. I want to keep it and then wire it and then actually hang it in my house when we're done.
Sounds like a nice little weekend there.
Yeah, it was very tiring and boring because I had to borrow a truck that had nothing but the radio to listen to.
Mine was a little different. It was drugs, not me doing them, but people around me. Golf,
I'm really glad you
drinking.
quantified that.
Yeah. Mediocre golfers. It was like we had one of the most interesting tournaments we've ever had. I'll just say a guy did something that you're only supposed to do in a restroom on the course.
I'm really. I have two things. First, I'm really glad that right after we get our first email from someone explicitly stating that they have a young child that listens to the show regularly, that
hey, I kept slowly, it real G-rated there.
that we have slowly descended into less and less child-friendly content. And then also, I have a question for you, Dills. Would they be so mediocre if they weren't on drugs?
Maybe, I don't know. They might. Yeah, maybe the drugs are holding them back. I mean, drugs are bad. Okay, so, but so he had a little interesting of a time out there, and it happened to be the weekend that a writer for a prominent golf magazine was also there. So we'll see how that ends up being in the story about the MJ. But interesting weekend to say the least, and made it through though. Still alive on the other end.
Well, that is good to hear.
Yeah,
it's very good to hear.
I actually did. You know what was really helpful during this long weekend of being outside and on golf courses? Hearthstone on my phone. Anytime I had a little downtime, I could actually still play some Hearthstone.
Which I could imagine when people are trying to talk to their ball instead of hitting it across the course. It can take a little bit to play through that hole.
Yeah, the MGA often takes 5 to 6 hours. So
gotcha.
A lot of downtime.
Noted.
Is that like a lot or not much
for
a round of golf?
A round of golf should take somewhere between 4 to 4.5 hours.
Ah.
Yeah. But not the way we do it.
I think your way is probably more fun.
Jocelyn, please one-up us and tell us that you had an even crazier weekend.
I really didn't. I had a pretty tame weekend. It was a long weekend in Canada. I didn't really do much. I just stayed home, played video games, killed a lot of pandas. So that was good.
Sweet.
I ended up on your stream without prior knowledge.
Yep, that was fun.
Yep.
Played some Heroes.
I was like, hey, you want to play some Heroes? Jocelyn's like, sure. And I Skype her. All of a sudden, I'm in a call with 4 other people, and Jocelyn's screaming from the top of her, I'm sure, whiskey-covered lips, welcome to the stream, Garrett!
But it was so fun, right?
It was a good
Sounds
time.
like fun.
It's a good time. We only won one game, but it was still a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a very good time.
If you can make Garrett have fun in Heroes while only winning one game, it must have been fun.
It's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
It is an accomplishment. I am not a person that finds fun in losing usually, so.
No. Yeah.
Dills knows.
You know what, to be honest, maybe it's because I'm getting older. Maybe it's because I'm just getting nerdier. But your weekend sounds more fun than mine, Jocelyn.
My weekend was a hell of a lot of fun.
Video games all weekend sounds pretty damn good to me right now.
Yeah,
That's what I'm doing next weekend, all right, for sure. By the way, D-Day is in town. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sweet.
I was just gonna segue to D-Day being in town. He's actually gonna come meet me after we're done podcasting time.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go hang. I'm gonna try to get him to play some Magic with me in a bar somewhere around my neighborhood. And then tomorrow, Magic Draft at game night. So we still have a couple spots open too. So anybody who's in the Bay Area who wants to do a Magic Draft with some super fun dudes in a super fun setting tomorrow at like 7 o'clock.
All right, hang on.
$15.
I'm going to Orbitz right now. I'm looking for a flight.
See if there's a cheap flight.
Oh, it's okay. It's like $1,200 for a flight with 1 day notice. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Fine. We'll waive the $15 fee for the Magic Draft if you do.
Oh well, I can't turn it down at that point. I mean, geez. Before we get going, I just want to let everyone know, if you're a patron of the Angry Chicken, we are doing our next patron hangout next Tuesday on May 26th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got details up over at patreon.com/TAC. If you can't see those details, it means you're not a patron.
Correct.
Because we do get asked that from time to time. It's like, oh, no, it's only patrons see the details. That's the way this works. So go check that out. Trying to be better about making sure you guys have at least a week notice. So this is your 1 week notice, patrons. Get your Skype.
You have been served.
Your Skype dial-in fingers ready. And get ready to talk about Hearthstone. And probably, I'm sure a lot of you will talk about stuff that isn't Hearthstone. Because it's fun and it's a hangout. We're all just enjoying.
Yeah, we're actually just there for whatever. Although I did notice somebody said something about like the patron hangout. I wish you'd talk about Hearthstone more and stop talking about ska bands or something. But here's the thing: we just want to talk to you guys. So I'm sorry if you hear some ska band talk, just skip forward a little bit, and at some point we will talk Hearthstone. It does happen every single time.
Awesome. Well, folks, let's talk a little Hearthstone news, shall we?
Good news, everyone!
Just a reminder, folks, if you want us to talk about a story or you want to talk about what was talked this week, head on over to tacpodcast.reddit.com and continue the conversation over there. We had a small patch this week. It brought in the new card backs that we kind of knew were coming. Well, at least the Ninja card back we knew was coming. And the Heroes of the Storm card back had been data mined, which I am correct, guys, right? We still can't get the Heroes of the Storm card back yet.
I don't think we can get it till June.
I think you get it when the game is actually out.
Yeah, that would make sense because none of the Heroes rewards that were data mined at the same time are in Heroes either.
No.
So no.
But pretty much this just means that they put the support into Hearthstone, so it's ready when that happens. Yeah.
It's all in there.
When you said we have a little patch, this is a little patch. This is
and I was
small.
so excited because I was just like, yay, June, but it's so far away. And then I kind of realized where we are in May, and I was like, shit, that's only like 2 weeks.
It's not far away at all.
No, I know.
No. And are you still on the road, Joss? On the road to Legend?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty bumpy.
It's a bumpy road. Okay.
It's up and down. I'm still actually at the same rank. I didn't grind as much this weekend as I wanted to, but yeah, no, I'm still working away. I probably won't get there this month, but I have definitely learned a lot in the last few days, and yeah, I think I can do it next month.
What revelation?
I think the key is to have multiple decks you feel comfortable with, where you can change with the meta, because the meta will shift throughout the month. So if you try to stick with one deck, you are going to run into times, especially if it's a popular deck. Like when you're doing the Mech Mage, when people start to tech against it, then you're like going to run into some issues. So
yeah, and that was my problem, is I was really comfortable and I really liked playing the Tempo Mage deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the problem, is I just got too comfortable and everyone started to play against it because it was really popular for a while. So I don't know. I think now I have a couple of decks that I'm comfortable with, and I also understand a lot more of like the matchups that I'm going up against. And that was like one thing that I kind of went over this weekend with Faramir, who's an EU player. Just like watching him play a lot of different decks, like the Freeze Mage and Rogue and what else? Oh, Warrior, I think. I I learned so much, and it kind of like shook my confidence a little bit because I was just like, I thought I was a pretty decent player, but then like talking through stuff with him, I was just like, oh man, I suck.
There's a
at
lot
this
you
game.
weren't thinking of yet. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
But that's with any game really. When you talk to someone who's playing it at a professional level, there's just things they're thinking about that you're not yet, and that's fine. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you're a bad player. It just means that there's more to learn, and so continue to
and
learn it, and you'll do better.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun though. I had a really, really great time, and I learned a ton. And I think I'm gonna put myself in a really good position for next month potentially.
Awesome.
I mean, Jocelyn, you're a huge football fan. Would you be like really sad if you sat down with a pro NFL player and they knew more about the game than you? Would that offend you?
Well, the pro player,
Yeah,
like what you
that's
gotta
true.
do is you gotta deflate your deck a little bit because your deck is too inflated.
I love.
And
by
this
the
is
way,
how you win.
I love the way that like that esports and like Magic the Gathering have much harsher penalties for cheating than the NFL. That makes me really
Well,
happy.
4 games, the quarter of the season, but yeah. if you cheat in like Magic, you're like gone for a year, right? Like you're just done.
Just
for a year.
saying, and I'm don't think that I'm sure someone would like break into your house and steal the trophy back from you. So,
Well, you're essentially like shunned too, right? People just talk crap about
oh
you.
yeah,
on the
you
internet
should.
all the
There,
time.
there
Yeah.
definitely isn't like an entire region of the country defending you for cheating.
No, that's true. People calling it a witch hunt and stuff. I was like, oh my god, you guys.
Yeah, it's a total
Just
witch
because you're a
hunt when
fan
it's,
of the team doesn't mean this is a witch hunt.
guys. It's not a witch hunt when there's facts.
Yeah.
Like,
By the way,
that's not how it works.
Speaking of Joss the Legend, I did sticky the Legend support thread because
I
people were
noticed. I
asking where to
kept
find it. And
forgetting.
it was like 3 pages down. And,
It's because I
yeah.
always use when I go on Reddit, I'm always on my phone, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to sticky a post from my phone, and I don't think
Yeah.
you can. And then I'd be at home and I would totally forget, and then I would be out, and then I'd be playing around on my phone and Reddit. And I'd be
Alright.
like, damn it! So thank you
got
for
your
doing.
back.
I saw that and I was just like, oh man,
I
someone,
had
one
not
of the
done
two
a
of them is
single thing.
awesome.
I hadn't done a single thing as a mod of the subreddit, so I did something now.
You did something.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So yeah, I think last time I posted in that thread was probably Friday. So I'll put some more stuff up there probably tomorrow. With
It's got like
what's
100
going on.
comments, so if you're
Oh
if
yeah,
you're
no,
looking
it's a
for
really,
people
really
that-
active thread.
Yeah, people are posting the decks they're using, what the record
they're
of the decks
seeing.
have been,
Yeah.
what decks they're playing against a lot, and all that kind of stuff. So anybody who's curious about should I try this deck, should I try maybe making a change to the certain deck, or whatever, there's a lot of people just going back and forth in there. So good place to
and
go.
I've also seen, and this is what happened back in February last time I tried. A lot of people seem to be hitting Legend for the first time. So a lot of people are posting in Reddit or tweeting it out, and it's really, really great. I'm glad that there's so much support in the community and that everyone is pushing so hard. It's great.
Oh, that's what's awesome about the Angry Chicken community. Like, imagine trying to start that thread just for a moment in like the general forum on the official
Our
site
Hearthstone? Yeah.
or our Hearthstone. Like, it's
It would be like, yo, noob, get out of here.
yeah.
You haven't been to Legend yet? You must suck. Get good.
Now I'm assuming at some point 1 or 2 of those will trickle into our subreddit. But the cool thing there, we can just ban them. We can just get rid of them.
Garrett with the premature ban hammer.
I'm not being premature about anything. I'm just saying we have one rule and
Show
one
up,
rule.
I'm gonna hammer them in the face.
We have one rule and one rule only. What is the rule, guys?
Don't be a dick.
Damn right.
Well, I've just noticed how, I do some other podcasts, and the community around this podcast is definitely the most active, vibrant, I don't know what you want to call it. The Instance has a
Supportive.
subreddit. People don't go there. No one goes there. And it's not because, there's not really cool people who are into the Instance, just because a lot of people have really galvanized around the group of people that like the show, and they've all become friends and everything. The people doing the game nights, other podcasts have sprung up now around this, and that's like you guys. We had nothing to do with that. We did a show, and then super awesome people did super awesome things. So you guys should all pat yourselves on the back if you're a part of that.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
absolutely. And also, people kind of pick their. It's almost like each show has different places people glob onto to talk about the show and meet and make friends and interact in the game together. Because for Into the Nexus, Reddit doesn't get a whole lot of attention, but the chat room is always bustling with people, looking for people for other parties and putting together quick match games and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So if we had chat channels in Hearthstone, Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Anyone listening out there that could have some type of influence on that, maybe we would see that in that game.
In the
I was
game.
gonna say that's the second week in a row we brought that up.
I would love some type of social feature in Hearthstone. It'd be nice.
Yeah, something built in would be great because I know there's a lot of kind of third-party things that you can use, but I'd much rather it
just
built in.
imagine for a moment, like having an Angry Chicken channel, and everyone who types, like you can see their name, you can click on their name to whisper them, and there's also the spectate button right next to their name, so you can start spectating people that aren't even on your friends list. I'd love it. It'd
That'd be so good.
One can dream. One can dream. So
One day.
real quick, backpedaling to the Heroes of the Storm card back. I meant to ask you guys last week, and we had such a jam-packed show, didn't really have time for it. What do you think of all this cross-game promotion and in-game items that are happening? Because I think it's really cool, and it seems like Blizzard is ramping it up more than ever before.
I freaking love it. Love it. Like I said, I originally thought that the Hearthstone card back mount was a WoW mount, and I just lost my shit. I mean, the fact that it's a Heroes mount is still cool, but I want that in WoW. But no, I think the more cross stuff that they do, it's just, it's going to get so much better, especially as someone who plays, well, I guess all the games except for Diablo. I don't really play Diablo. But, I mean, it's just so much incentive to get into all the different titles and play all the things. So I think it's a great idea. I love it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. And
I play all the Blizzard games. I love it. Give me more. Just keep it coming.
Yeah.
Free stuff.
And who doesn't want that Grave Golem pet in WoW? I mean, I know it's not a mount,
Yeah, that thing's
but
cool.
It's a Grave Golem pet. I want a Grave Golem pet.
I didn't even see that.
I just hope
look it up.
I just hope there's some way I can like click on it a bunch of times or something, and it gets bigger than my friend's Grave Golem pet. So it's like the battleground in Heroes of the Storm. It's like your golem is bigger than your opponent's. Like yes.
I mean, at this point too, all the pets that come out are all battle pets. So they're not just a little guy following you around. You get to battle with them, and yeah, he's
You
awesome.
say a little guy following you around as if that's a bad thing.
I mean, just like there's only so much you can do with that, you know. But when you can actually insert them into battle, now you're
That
talking.
is true. Are you guys pet battler? I know I
No.
pet battle, but do you guys do it at all?
No.
I do. I kind of have to do a little bit of everything in World of Warcraft, right? So that I can talk about it.
True.
But I found myself at one point pet battling. I got a bunch of guys all the way up to 25 and stuff, and I have a decent team. I don't do it all the time. I wouldn't say I'm not a Ludra level yet.
I don't think anyone else in the game
no,
is.
no one else is. But no, I mean, every now and then I'll just wander out of my garrison and pick a fight with some group of little tiny pets out there and see what
Yeah.
happens.
That's actually the one thing that I totally fell off of in Draenor is pet battling. It's because I just got
They didn't
so
add much.
into. No, they didn't add much.
They
and
gave you
they
your
didn't.
garrison thing. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, and they also didn't like up the max level or anything. So I got so into Ashran and PvP that I haven't really done anything else. Every time I'm in game, that's what I'm doing is hours and hours and hours of Ashran.
You've been Ashraining for pretty much since Warlords came out.
I have been. It's because of the Nemesis quests, and I'm trying to get them done before 6.2. Because
Gotcha.
in 6.2 you can't go in with a pre-made raid anymore. So,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yep.
You should have informed me of this so I could get in with you. Gosh.
You're making fun of me right now,
So,
aren't you?
no. I
Oh.
want these titles. You're supposed to.
Well, you can still get the titles. You just you can't
can't do it with the
join
pre-made.
a group because right now if you join a group, you get like bonus kills because you're all in the same quest. So instead, like every time I kill a panda, if I'm in a group of 5, then I get 5 credit for 5 kills, even though it was only 1. So they're getting rid of that in 6.2. So it's going to be.
Well, that seems like an
much
exploit.
harder.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a little bit.
Fair enough.
I think it has something to do with being grouped and all on the same quest and getting credit for things that other people in your group are doing, which is the way it works out in the world. But
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
fine. But when you get credit for 5 because of 1 kill, that's an exploit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if you get credit when the other guy gets 1, that's 1. It's all still 1, you know?
yeah, I
So
think
it's
it's
not like they're
because you
changing it
have
'cause that shouldn't
to.
work
I
that
mean,
way.
well, and it's not 5 every time. It's like if each person in the group tags it and participates in that 1 kill, then you get all 5. If only 3 of the 5, so you have to try to stick with your group. and
That's
stuff like that.
definitely an exploit. There's no way that's supposed to work that way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Also changed in this patch was a new support for 64-bit iOS devices. This means that if you have an iPad Air 1 or better or an iPhone 5S or better, you should notice a severe increase in the quality of Hearthstone. It's a lot snappier now. I know I've noticed this.
Yes.
And if you want to read more about it, the toucharcade.com actually wrote a good little piece about it.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that things look different or whatever. It's just when you open the game, it opens smoother. When you click on something, it goes to that smoother. It's all just works better on a device that's supposed to make it work better. So if you're on an older device, it's not going to do anything. But
yeah,
it's a really big deal. And apparently, Yang Wu said it was really hard and a lot of work. So yeah, now we all get to our collection 1 second faster. So thanks, Yang Wu, for all your hard work.
Well, it's noticeable. I mean, whenever you're navigating the menus, because it still works like the Hearthstone board. It still looks like things are opening and closing and drawers are coming out and whatnot. When that hiccups, it's super noticeable. And now it's a lot smoother and it's nice. It's a nice experience.
Now, there's definitely times where I'd click something and then I'd sit there for a second. I'd go, did it register my click, or is this just normal, just latency kind of stuff? And so I would click again. And it's like, oh, now it's opening. It's so now none of that is happening anymore. It all just works the way it's supposed to, which is great.
Yeah. Also, this weekend was the HTC Invitational Tournament. It was invite only and hosted online. There were 16 players, a $5,000 prize pool, and 4s-in-1 got $2,500.
Dad did it finally. Yeah, so he was 0 forcing for a long time, and now he's first place forcing, I guess. So good job.
Yeah.
He played some good decks. He played solid decks. I think it's like a lot of people would say that these decks are maybe easier decks. He's playing like Zoo and stuff like that, but I think they're hard to play actually at really high levels, and he played really, really well. He's clearly been working on his game a lot more because I think for a while he kind of just worked on streaming more and not on high level play, just kind of playing whatever. And his results kind of reflected that. Now he seems to have shifted focus a little more. I heard he's getting back into the gym. So I don't know. Maybe this is the beginning of forcing going on a tear. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have an easy road either. I mean, he took out Kalento, and Kalento took out Firebat. He also had to go over Hyped before he went up against Tides of Time in the finals.
Yeah, and Naria too. Naria's a good player as well. So I mean, he beat 4 really good players to do it. So good on him.
This was a
although he did
tournament.
get to dodge Strafecrow in the finals because Tides took him out. But Tides is no slouch himself. So
right. So makes sense. I watched a little bit of the OGN Hearthstone Masters Korea this morning. It was going on when I woke up. I'm like, oh hey, live Hearthstone when I wake up because time difference. That was fun. This is the first time I've watched an OGN Hearthstone event. So as someone who does not speak Korean, I had a lot of fun looking at the Korean cards and hearing the Korean emotes.
I love how different the meta is in all of the different regions too. It's weird what we're seeing in some of these tournaments between EU and NA because some of these players just kind of cross over. So I feel like those two meta games are a little bit. There's a little bit more crossover there than there is when you talk about like the Chinese decks and stuff. Like Jocelyn, you gave me that Chinese Tempo Mage deck the other day, which I was like, I couldn't wrap my head around it. But after I played it a bunch, I was like, this is really good actually. Probably because no one sees it coming.
Exactly.
But it's really cool like that. It works completely different out there. Different cards are really popular than you'll ever see here, and we don't quite get that in NAU because of so much crossover between these two.
All of the Korean players, for example, a lot of them had warriors, but every single one of them was control warrior. None of them were playing patron warrior.
And were they doing the Corruptor?
They were doing the Corruptor with Ysera and Alex Strauss.
Yeah,
because
you actually don't need much more than that to effectively activate a Corruptor on turn 5, because a lot of times you will have done some drawing at that point. You probably just played a weapon. You didn't really do too much as a control warrior yet.
Right.
So it's very possible you'll just have a Ysera or an Alexstrasza in your hand.
Well, yeah, and that's the cool thing about the Blackwing Corruptor and the other cards that have some type of upside when you have a dragon in hand is we've all been in that scenario where we have our 9-mana dragon just chill in our hand way too early, and we're like, oh, crap, I'm getting nothing out of this. So at least with those cards, you're like, oh, yay, I get to deal 3 targeted damage on turn 5. Let's do this.
Yeah, and that's actually where I think Control Warrior would run into an issue where without Fiery War Axe or without Death Spite, you were running a little bit short on removal that wasn't like shield slam. So like you want to use shield slam on really big targets where you've got 8 armor and you're killing an 8/8 for 1 mana, right? Or execute on these really big targets. And then someone puts out something, something little with a little bit of health, and you're like, I don't want to shield slam that. I only have 2 shield. Like, I don't want to waste that.
Exactly.
And Blackwood Corruptor fits so well into that role.
Yeah. The lack of minions in the control warrior rears its head against those like 3 health minions and so on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's a lot of, especially with Patron out there now, you got to do something about these 3 health minions. They're a thing. Like, I've teched Hellfire into every single Warlock class I play now. Like, I've got Hellfire in my Zoo, which is, like, ridiculous to have Hellfire in my Zoo deck. But I have to, because otherwise I have no answer when everyone gets in there.
When everyone gets in there?
Yeah.
You got it, man. You got it. It's Hellfire, the Kazan Mystic for Patron Warriors for Warlocks.
Oh, yeah.
That poor Paladin. Like, Paladin can't... You have to have a quality Consecrate. That's it. 2-card combo.
Or you have to hope that they didn't create any patrons and you have a True Silver Champion with a charge.
That never happens.
No, it doesn't. They always get... They always
draw,
get...
Like, I don't know if you guys played a lot of the Patron deck. Like, there's so much card draw in the deck now.
There is a lot. Although, I mean, I played Paladin, and there are scenarios where you can remove the one full health one with your champion,
get rid of the
and
more
then
dangerous
consecrate.
one. Yeah.
And
But you have to get rid of all the ones that have even more than 1 health, because now there's like 5 or 6 different whirlwind effects. There's Inner Rage. There's, of course, the Cruel Taskmasters. There's just so many ways to get 1 damage on the remaining patron. And then the fresh patron comes out again. You're like, another fresh patron.
It's tough for Paladin, because it used to be as a Paladin, you go in, you'd see Warrior, like, oh, it's Control Warrior. It's like, it's not guaranteed, but it's not a bad matchup by any means.
No, it's fine. Yeah, especially if you were a greedier Paladin, you'd oftentimes just outlast them.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep popping out 1/1s if they have to keep dealing.
But now you see a Warrior, and you're just like, oh crap, I don't know what you are, and if you're the other thing, I'm gonna have a rough time.
Not only that, your hero power actively is bad.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, because now they just run the patron into it and create a new one. So it's just a really rough matchup.
The Imp Gang Boss has made Paladin really annoying too. Again, your tokens just kind of like, I'm just giving them more imps, and my tokens are getting nothing done.
It's actually, over time, more and more creatures have entered the game that feast on 1/1s, Like, it used to be just like things like Acolyte of Pain. And now there's just a ton of stuff where you don't even want to be doing what you do as your class, and that's really bad. We do have the one way where you can pump them all up to 3/3s, but, you have to play 2 5s for 5 to do that, and I don't know, that's not the answer. So
Yeah.
That's why we're seeing a lot of drop in Paladin right now. I'm just seeing no Paladin on the ladder.
Yeah, no, I can't even remember the last time. Oh, no, wait, I did play 1 today, and I beat him.
And you beat him, right? Yeah.
I see him here and there. I still really like playing Paladin. Like, if I had to go to a tournament tomorrow, I would still play Paladin. Absolutely.
Yeah. They have ways. Like, Midnight Bombers has a quality pyro. Sure. That kills all your own stuff too, though. Like, it's just, these aren't reliable answers. Right?
Yeah, but Hellfire for Zulok kills all your things too.
Kills all your dudes.
Well, yeah. But oftentimes, the thing is with Zulok feasts on a lot of the other stuff that's out there, and then Grim Patron's like the one really bad matchup. So it was just like, okay, I need to make this slightly better, and that one card still does that. So I can actually win that matchup more often now. The Paladin is in a bad place in a bunch of popular matchups right now. So that's really what it is. Like one more deck being popular kind of knocked them way down. Whereas before they were doing okay because, again, like you said, they could do okay against Control Warrior. They could do okay against a lot of this other stuff, but not anymore.
Yeah. I still love Paladin. I still love him. Sure. I'm not going to stop playing him, ever. I can't quit you, Paladin.
They'll be back. Don't worry.
I just can't do it.
We'll probably see a lot of changes with the next expansion.
I want like the Quartermaster Junior. Like it's 4 mana and it gives them like +1/+1.
Still get feasted on by patrons though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
No, they'll be back. I just feel like just more cards have entered the game. That's like like I said, more cards have entered the game that feast on 1/1s, and that's what they do every turn. Pop out a 1/1, and it just gets countered horribly. Like, when you play Shaman, sometimes you're just like, don't put a 1/1. Don't be a 1/1 like totem. Just give me a taunt or healing or anything but the 1/1. You get the 1/1, you're like, ah! It's like with Paladin, that's always what you get. So Like you can't pray for the O2 recruit with taunt. It's just not going to happen.
Is like, what is he, the Goldshire footman's like cousin or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm restarting my whole thing. I think my roboting again. I'll be back.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. It's not his mic chat room. It's Skype.
No, it's Skype.
It's Skype.
It's always Skype.
Yeah. We blame Skype for everything on the show, and rightfully so. F Skype. F Skype and,
so hard.
and Skype's ear. Right in the ear, Skype. Right in the ear. So I'm looking forward to talking to the patrons next week. That'll be fun.
Yeah, me too. I always love the hangouts.
Yeah. They've been good. And when I remember to give them proper notice, we have tons of folks calling it. Who'd have thunk it? I mean, honestly.
Yeah, because we didn't give much notice last time, did we?
Last time we did, the time before that we didn't. And didn't have a whole lot of callers.
Yeah, there was a couple different posts in a couple different places on Reddit talking about how, don't talk about enough Hearthstone. And then I was like, what episode numbers were you looking at? And then I was like, oh yeah, those are the patron hangouts. I was like, all driven by the patrons. Like, we talk about whatever they want to talk about.
We're not going to tell them they can't ask certain things or bring up certain topics. It's supposed to be a fun episode. So bugger off.
Yep, I'm everywhere.
Yep, Jocelyn just spread across everything. Just waiting for Dills to come back. I have a feeling Dills is doing a hard restart.
Yeah, I think so.
All the things, and it's just a good time. So
they want Thrall to be in Dill's window.
So you said you learned a lot of things this week. Any big revelations you had in your climb up the ladder?
Well, I think probably the biggest one is just that for a really, really long time, I was focusing on just knowing my deck really well. And while that's important, I wasn't paying as much attention to my opponents as I should have been. So I generally knew what they were going to do, but I didn't understand because I don't play all the other decks. So I didn't quite understand, what they were going for, what their win conditions were and stuff like that. So I think the matchups were really important. And actually that tool that we linked last week in the show notes, I think is going to be really, really important, which is that it's the website that will pull the YouTube videos for you of the pros playing in the matchup so that you can get a better idea of what's going on. Yeah, I can't remember the website off the top of my head right now, but I know it's in the show notes from last week. So yeah, I think understanding your matchups is just as important as understanding your deck, and that's something I was not doing at all. So
yeah, the tool, by the way, was hearthstonetopdecks.com/deck-versus-deck.
Can't imagine why I couldn't remember that.
I can't believe you didn't remember that. Yeah, no, that is a really, especially if you. I think it's really important also to be tracking your win-loss against certain decks and realize what your bad matchups are.
Yeah,
because
which
then
is something
you
I have been
specifically
doing.
concentrate on those. Yeah.
Yeah, that is something I have been doing. I use Hearthstone Deck Tracker, and it's awesome because then I start the new day and I look at my stats from the rest of the month and I go, okay, this, that, and the other thing, and this is what's going on. And you can see your stats from, just the past 24 hours, past 48, past week, past month, all that kind of stuff. So it gives me a really good picture of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and where I need to improve. So, and it's really funny because when I was playing the Tempo Mage deck, and the reason I wanted to switch out of it was because I was having, 80 and 90% win rates against, priests in my mirror matches against other mages and stuff like that. But I was losing to warrior, and I was losing to, I think it was druid. And that was pretty much 60% of my matches were up against those two classes. So even though I had really high win rates against most classes, the ones I was seeing most often were just wrecking my face. So I think just having that extra bit of information to go from and to know, to use it as a tool to figure out when to switch was helpful as well. So,
yeah.
But I've been using Deck Tracker since February. So,
gotcha. Well, it's good to hear, and it's we mentioned this stuff a lot, so it's kind of it's just like a reminder. You just can't get lazy if you're really wanting to make the push.
Yeah, and that is something I totally did this weekend. I got a little bit lazy. I played some other games. I should have played more Hearthstone. But
how dare you enjoy your weekend? and
See, this is the thing.
play
You
what
can't
wanna
enjoy
play.
your weekend till you hit legend. There's no such thing as enjoying your weekend until you're already there.
Oh my god, that needs to be on a shirt. That needs to be the next Angry Chicken shirt we make.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Oh man, well, awesome. Well, Dills, you're back. Let's get into this week's strategy.
Hit it very hard.
Wanna blow something up? Time to pay.
This week we're talking about mid-range hunter, which is I just want to call it mid-face hunter.
This is more. They're calling it mid-range. This is hybrid. I would call this hybrid hunter. It is a mid-range deck, but it's a mix of face and mid-range, right? Mm-hmm. So it's but it's good. It confuses people. I think people might be getting used to it now, though, and I think we might be running into the situation where we're a little late on this one for everybody else out there.
Yeah, but it got posted in the Tempo Storm meta report, so
yeah.
Jig is up.
So face hunter. Everybody knows about face hunter. Everything hits your face. Everything has charge. It's just does what it does. It shoots you in the face. Then there's mid-range hunter, which is also puts a lot of pressure because it generally has a drop on every turn. But you're doing a lot more trading, and you're relying on the fact that you have this hero power that's constantly chipping away and doing damage. And you're trying to play kind of value creatures that will, live because they're tough to get rid of because they all have death rattles and stuff. And then also you've got really big tempo plays like Freezing Trap, which sends things back to the hand. They cost 2 more. It's really annoying to play against, stuff like that. This kind of tries to do both. So gets a really fast start and then slows the other guy down just enough with some of the really value drops like Piloted Shredder, Haunted Creepers, all that kind of stuff. But just really is more. I think I was playing it closer to a mid-range style. And that's when I was struggling. Once I switched more to just playing it as a face hunter with some stronger drops, I started to win a lot more. So if you look, like the real big differences here is that things like you've taken out some of the beast synergy, and you've inserted leper gnomes, abusive sergeants, wolf riders, arcane golems, but you still have that shell of Piloted Shredder, Lotheb, Savannah Highmane. So I don't know. What are you guys' impression of this deck? I know Jocelyn, you were playing it a little bit. How did you feel the games went? Did you feel good when you were playing this deck? Did it feel powerful?
Well, I don't know. See, I did well, but I don't know. It wasn't fun. It felt kind of like the transition from like face early stuff to later on, and like knowing when to make that switch and what you were going for, face or board control. It was kind of difficult, and just I don't know. I didn't have fun playing this deck. I did well, but I don't know if I like it. It's kind of weird, and like you said, I mean, the whole idea basically is like go trick your opponent, make them use all of their removal on your early minions, and then you have, again, not big threats, but bigger threats, I guess.
Bigger threats, yeah.
Yeah, and that then can't be removed easily. And I think that's kind of, everyone knows that that's what's coming now, so it's not a surprise anymore. So, someone throws down Savannah Highmane, and it's just kind of like, saw that coming.
Yeah,
so,
I have silence or I have removal, or
yeah, like I think they're already starting to shift away from using their really expensive hard removal and stuff on your early minions. So I don't know. I think we'll probably see it for another couple weeks, but I don't think it's really got any staying power.
Well, this week the meta snapshot, Hype's meta snapshot on tempostorm.com came out, and they called this the #1 deck in the game. And apparently,
Really?
Legend Rank 1 and Legend Rank 2 were both playing this deck when they got there. So I think it's an incredibly strong deck. I think that a lot of the strength was around people not being aware of that, that it was this hybrid deck. So I think you're definitely right. At some point, I think it's going to go out of the meta again. But I do think, though, that just if the deck plays as it's supposed to, and if you understand the matchups and you understand how you're going to play this deck, I do feel like this deck is always going to have a consistent win rate because it does apply so much pressure. You essentially have a face hunter start, like you get your leper gnomes out, and then you abusive, and you hit face, and it's like, and they're just forced to suddenly react. And then, like you said, then like the high end comes out, and they're like, I have nothing left for this. I don't know if I understand it enough to like give people advice on how to play it, but it's hard to argue with number 1 and 2 playing this deck, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be good. It's got to be really good. It's just I don't have enough experience with it yet to say, for sure if it is or not. But I think, I think it's our job to like. Some people don't do what we do, which is look on subreddits and stuff and try to find this stuff. So maybe they just come here. So this is the newest, funnest, coolest, whatever you want to call it. Or maybe not the funnest.
It's fun. It's not. No. And well, I mean,
if you like mid-range hunter and you like face hunter, you're gonna love the combination of the two, though.
And I think that's the thing. I never enjoyed playing face hunter. I liked playing mid-range hunter. In chat room saying, wasn't I the hunter queen for a long time? Yeah, for a long time, that's all I played was hunter. And so, but yeah, this just doesn't feel fun. And when I did play hunter, I played mid, so it feels weird and cheap and yucky at the beginning. I don't like it. What about you, Garrett?
I don't know. I really like face hunter because I think it's a tightrope walk. I
find myself actually liking this deck. I haven't logged enough games with it to really have a strong opinion. I like it way more than face hunter. I've barely played any mid-range hunter, so as far as I'm concerned, this is my favorite hunter deck at the moment.
Yeah. If you want fun hunter, you play Death Rattle, Feign Death Hunter. All right.
Yes, that would be stupid fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, but if you're trying to win games, it's like you gotta go with something that does something really well, and I think this deck does what it does really well. It's just not the easiest to wrap your head around.
I like it because the thing is even if they do see it coming, if they know, this is the new type of hybrid hunter, whatever the hell you want to call it, it's semantics. It doesn't matter. If they don't react to your early drops, then you're just getting more damage in. You can just play it like face hunter and just win because you're getting more damage in than you would in a normal face hunter scenario. And you still have an Iron Beak Owl to make it past one big pesky taunt that comes down. Now, granted, if they have Defender of Arguses out the wazoo, you're going to have some issues, but you would have had that issue anyway with Face Hunter. At least here, you have a couple beefy creatures you can throw down and hopefully get yourself back into the game past the midpoint.
Yeah, Face Hunter would just fall flat against things like Control Warrior and stuff. And this deck, and then mid-range would actually have a chance, right? So this deck, I think, just is kind of shored up the weaknesses a little bit in the matchups that are currently more common. So something like, traditional Face Hunter is actually not very good against Grim Patron Warrior because of the fact that you're running explosive traps, and they love that you have explosive traps. They're like, yeah, give me more patrons. But now here you've gotten rid of those, and you got the freezing traps, which are just kind of always good, I think. And I think it's just in the current meta, this is the version of Hunter that is going to do the best. Again, I just need to play it more because I think I just wasn't playing it aggressive enough. I wasn't just throwing stuff on the board and then hitting face with it. I also wasn't doing things like I was trying to avoid just playing a Wolf Rider on 3 and hitting face. I was more often maybe playing a 1-drop and hero power or something. I think you just need to be more all about the face and then kind of transition into dropping these bigger, more powerful drops. The other thing I found weird about it, and I don't know, I might need to just tweak it, is it's tough for me to wrap my head around 1 Eaglehorn Bow and 2 Glaive Zukas.
Right?
Eaglehorn Bow is just so much damage.
I like it.
When I was building the deck, I was like, wait, one Eaglehorn? Yeah. That sounds wrong.
I like the 2 Glaive Zukas.
I like the Glaive Zukas a lot. They're so good at the early game. Especially you get a Leopardon out there, and then he sticks, and then you hit for 3, and then they have to kill it with maybe their face sometimes, and then,
So. You can.
Yeah, no, it's definitely great. It's just, I think the first Hunter deck I've seen maybe ever that only runs 1 Eaglehorn. I thought it was a mistake.
Yeah, I like the 2.
Kalento took out both Eaglehorn bows in that original mid-range. Right? Am I remembering that wrong? Someone confirm. Chat room!
Go, chat room, go.
Sorry, what were you saying, Garrett?
I don't remember Kalento's mid-range deck off the top of my
head.
head.
Is forever ago. This is what he was running. It was all beasts and stuff, and yeah.
Gotcha. No, I liked the games I played with this deck. I think I might actually play it more. I want to force myself to play more aggressive decks because it's my definitely my weak suit.
It's
like
what you haven't done very much of.
Yeah, I play aggressive a lot in Magic, but I don't in Hearthstone for whatever reason. So
yeah. There you go. Faramir confirms. Kalenta took out both Eagle Horn bows. I remember this now. Yeah.
Okay.
He was playing the crocodile. He was playing all sorts of weird stuff, but it was dominant at the time. But yeah, I think when I look at this deck, I'm looking at the cards. I'm going, every card here does what it's supposed to do in this deck. I'm just a little concerned about one Eagle Horn bow, but then it's hard to fit in things like little techie things like Quick Shot and stuff, which Quick Shot can help you deal with a situation where the patrons come out and you have no other way to do it. So
That's true.
Also, there's no draw in the deck. Literally no draw. Quick Shot is the only draw. So
I think I only ran out of cards one time though.
Yeah.
The games never went long enough for me to run out of cards.
sure. And what you want to be doing with this deck too is you want to start like what you do with Face Hunter, which is start weaving in hero powers once you get to about turn 3, 4, 5 and on. You should be playing, rather than trying to play a 4-drop and a 2-drop on 6, play a 4-drop and hero power. So you run out of cards slower because you're always getting that 2 damage to the face. And it's really important to just continue. Like, you want to get at least 6 to 8 damage out of your hero power over the course of the game. And then you only have to get, 20, 22, 24 damage off of your creatures and stuff. So
Yeah. Granted, this deck does have a low beginning curve, and if you draw all low stuff, I have had games where I run out of cards. It does happen. But I mean,
Oh yeah, no, it absolutely does. Yeah.
Quick Shot, at the end of the day, Quick Shot is 3 targeted damage with an upside if you are running out of cards. So
yeah, everyone looks at that thing and thinks that if it's just a Dark Bomb, it's bad. And I go, no, if it's just a Dark Bomb, that's fine. 3 damage for 2.
Especially if it takes out a patron.
it's not like it doesn't do anything. It's not it's never really a dead card. Actually, it never is, because you can kill someone with it. You can hit him in the face with Quick Shot if you want.
Sure.
Yep.
And I did that 3 or 4 times over the course of the games I was playing with it.
Exactly.
I drew only once with it, though. At one time, I drew a card with it. And I actually drew a kill command, and then that was enough for lethal. So that was actually pretty funny. But
it does happen.
yeah. But yeah, I think everyone who's maybe looking for a deck that feels powerful right now should probably give this one a go. I think it does do really well in the current meta right now because of Grim Patron decks and the lack of like you're just kind of not seeing a lot of decks that Face Hunter is really good against anymore. And this just kind of shores up some of that weakness. So give it a go, everybody.
I like it, and everyone knows I hate Face Hunter, so it says something about it. So definitely go check it out. We have a link to the deck list in the show notes, which is over at amove.tv/TAC. Look for episode 83's post. All right, on to crazy game stories.
Is the whole world gone crazy?
You're in trouble now.
You got it!
One of these days he's going to calm down, but it is not this day. You can send your crazy game stories to tacpodcast@gmail.com. Jocelyn, what story do you have for us today?
This one comes to us from Mystery Meow. Says, "Hello, gentlemen and wonderful lady." Totally not sucking up. I was listening to your podcast and heard about the Tempo Mage deck. Making a copy of it and going into game against a lock, I had an awesome moment. So, board state. He has a bunch of 1/1 imps, and on mine I have a Sorcerer's Apprentice. He uses the imps on face, so the score is 24-6. My turn, I unstable Portal and get Chromagus, thus playing it on my turn, along with another Sorcerer's Apprentice. He then goes face and drops me to 1 health and begins to BM me. Again, on my turn, I draw Fireball. So with the Fireball in my hand, I already had, plus the 2 I just drew, I play all 3 thanks to the 2 apprentices and swing to face with Chromagus for a total of 24 damage. Come from behind victory like a boss.
Wow.
Eat a Warlock.
Wow.
This is why I love portals, and I feel like on the back end, there's got to be some sort of like code switch, something that makes like legendary minions pop out of these portals more often than anything else.
Not seeing it. Not happening
No?
on my end.
Maybe I just have stupid Hearthstone luck. I don't know.
I think he slipped Yang Wu at 20 at BlizzCon and was like, "Hey man, can you get my account on the super
Hook my
secret?"
portals up.
Yeah, hook my portals up, please. I know it hasn't come out yet because it's BlizzCon 2014. You just announced Goblins vs. Gnomes, but I just have a feeling that Unstable Portal is going to be amazing.
Yep.
So I'm confused why this lock just ignored your Sorcerer's Apprentice. That seems silly to me. I guess,
Oh, well, yeah,
24
it totally, obviously, the lock didn't make the right decisions, but...
I would definitely kill the Sorcerer's Apprentice, I
Yeah.
think. But, whatever. That's just me.
But then it wouldn't be a crazy game story.
I know.
That
And then,
could
but
be 20
also,
fireballs.
Locke probably felt pretty good about being at 24 health, so.
Yeah.
I just feel like at 24 health with 9 damage on board, I'd rather just kill a Sorcerer's Apprentice,
Yeah.
A Crow Magus is 6 damage, Sorcerer's Apprentice is 3 damage. You're not looking for much as a mage, especially with Crow Magus's effect. That's draw 2 fireballs. That's 12 damage right there. So
I have 2 things. One for you, Dills. It's called Crazy Game Stories, not crazy. Everybody played correct stories.
I know. I'm just pointing out anyone out there who plays Warlock, you should probably kill one of
Don't
those.
do this.
Yeah.
And then 2, Splice Stream in the chat room said that Ben Brode told the code guys to punish me, Garrett, for complaining about
that's
Crackle.
correct. Yeah.
And
That's
why
probably it.
that's why my unstable portals aren't nearly as good.
He said Garrett didn't like duplicate Aura or Crackle. So, yeah, screw that guy.
And Jocelyn likes all the cards and never wants to nerf anything, so clearly she deserves all the legendaries. Makes perfect sense.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your crazy game story mystery. Meow. Time to take some emails.
Hello?
Hello, it's me.
Hello.
Just quickly, did you get my message?
Yep.
Oh,
Hello, brother.
Send your emails to tacpodcast@gmail.com. Our first one today comes to us from Yuki Sensei, who says, hello. No, and nothing clever. That's it.
No, that's it. It was just
You're
plain
just being
hello.
lazy.
It's
Yuki
kind of
Sensei.
refreshing, though,
Yeah.
Just a simple hello.
Sensei says, I wanted to mention that the NVIDIA Hearthstone Pro AM tournament is going to be happening on Twitch May 30th and 31st. I am a longtime listener who's going to be in the playoffs as one of the 16 amateur players competing. I'd love to have support and well wishes from all of the various irate poultry who make our wonderful community. So please send your well wishes and good vibes my way. I'm really trying hard to take first place and have been so psyched to get this far. Thanks for the amazing show and entertainment. No, thank you, Yuki Sensei, for representing so freaking hardcore and being a total baller. That's awesome.
I think he's actually 4th or 5th. I put the link to the standings in the chat
Finished 8-0 with
Wow.
24 game wins and
Yep.
8 game losses.
Yep. Yeah, he's number 5.
Well done.
Number 5. Number 1's name is Boar Control. That makes
Boar
me so
Control.
happy.
I know, I saw that. That made me so happy.
Oh, that's
But
great.
24
I
and
bet he's
4.
Hunter.
He better be. If he took the name Boar Control and isn't Hunter, that just makes me sad. That'd be like StarCraft, like if Marine King didn't play Terran.
I like also how Board Control went 24 wins, 4 losses, game differential of 20. So 24-4-20. Good job.
The yellow did indeed swag.
Yeah. It's actually, never mind. I'm just going to stop right there.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all good here. Yeah. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, good luck. I played in it, and I went like 2-3, and then I just stopped playing because I was like, I'm never going to make it to the finals, so I'm done. I'm out. I just didn't want to keep having to play them on Thursdays because, so I got to keep showing up on Thursdays. And then also there was a bunch of times where the website wasn't working. It got weird. It's hard to report the scores and stuff. So I'm glad that for some people it worked out well, and that's awesome. You're going to be on Twitch and stuff, getting your games casted. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. What about the next email, Dills?
This is from Scott.
I think it's probably Scott.
It's probably Scott.
A Scott with 1 T. He
I mean,
says,
there's not an A after the O or an E after the T,
No,
so
no,
I'm
I
pretty
know.
sure it's Scott.
It says, greetings. I'm curious if you all would find a new practice mode in Hearthstone useful. I propose calling this mode Science Mode. Science Mode would be a sandbox where you can set all parameters to test card interactions. You can control the type of opponent, how many and what cards were in play in each hand, stack the decks, how much mana, adjust damage or buffs on critters, etc. This way you could easily test what Dills mentioned when you Faceless Manipulator a Druid of the Fang, bounce the Druid of the Fang back to your hand, and see that you'll get whatever it turned into, 4477, back to your hand instead of the original choice card. Wow, you were watching the... Wait, did I mention it on the show? I mentioned it on the show.
You mentioned it on the show.
Yeah. Or having multiple Grim patrons out at varying health. Have something that does 1 damage to all critters to go off and find out then that critters taking fatal damage do not get out of the way to allow new Grim patrons on the board to take their place. Only the open spots that were there before the AoE went off will be filled. I find this faster and more flexible than trying to test playing with a friend or in practice or casual mode. Seems like this would be something Team 5 already has, but that it's just valuable to them. Like, this podcast needs more content for Blizz to hear. Yeah, put that in the game. Love TAC. I love this idea. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff I want to test, but yeah, you have to build a deck, get somebody else to build a deck that you can then test against, and then try to draw into that particular situation, and then do it and see what happens.
It's a lot of work, yeah.
Yeah, if you could just put the stuff on the board where you want it and whatever, then good. That'd be great. So I'm all with it. I'm all with you there, Scott. Let's do this. Team 5, you have been told what to do again.
Yeah.
Once again.
For like the 20th week in a row.
I like this idea too. I find it unlikely. It's on the to-do list, but I like this idea a lot.
Yeah, I don't think this is a priority at all, but it would be very cool, you know.
I think it's kind of interesting because it probably is something that they already have, I would think.
I would hope so. That's a lot of work for them to go through just to test one little interaction. If they have to craft a deck, get Tom from down in accounting to come over, craft a deck, and play against them. Just like, all right, just hold on, Tom. Just gotta wait. Okay. Yeah. Oh, we didn't draw right. All right, end this game. Start
and then Tom does some sort of misplay. God damn it, Tom from accounting. Get back downstairs.
And now it's even more fun because now I'm imagining Tom Merritt and I'm wondering why he's working in accounting.
So it would be reels, not from Tom from accounting. They just get reels, right? XR. So when you see guys do, like, when they set up that longest turn ever thing, world record for longest turn, that you saw, if you watched their stream, how long it took them to actually get it to work, right? They had to sit there and specifically play, like, they had a deck full of, like, 1-drops that they could just play out so that they could just get rid of their hand anytime. And all this, and just to set up a situation. Obviously, that's a more complex situation. But when you're trying to set up any situation, it takes a long time. And that's actually kept me from doing this before, testing stuff out. So this would be useful for me, for sure. So I'm all about it.
Yeah, no, I think this is great.
Bring it.
Get on it.
Jocelyn, what email is next? That's also probably a suggestion for Team 5 to do.
Actually, it's not.
Okay.
It's something that happened a couple days ago. So this one comes to us from Caleb. He said, this is a bit of a story, but I think it's important to understand an issue that we as a community need to address, no pun intended. On May 14th, around 1 a.m., Reynad accidentally showed his address on stream. For those of you who don't know what happened, Reynad was discussing how he was possibly scammed by someone who he paid several $100s for to build a custom guitar. To illustrate, he showed an email where he had sent pictures of the guitar. Inadvertently, when he was showing this email on stream, it also contained his house address. Over 16,000 people were watching the stream at the time. Reynad immediately turned off the stream, said he's going to the police station because, as Reynad said, there's a 9,000% chance I get swatted. So right after this happened, people began posting his address in chat and in Crip's chat. Moderators of both chats took proper steps to slow down the speed of the spread of his address. People immediately, as expected, were posting on the Hearthstone Reddit talking about the event. Here's where I believe something happened we need to have a dialogue about. The moderators of Reddit removed all of the threads discussing the event. It's not just that they removed the specific posts that had his address listed in them, but removed every thread about the event, period. This is the worst kind of censorship, censoring the fact that an event even happened. I don't think that was right. Don't get me wrong, deleting posts that had the address listed is understandable, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with people in the community knowing it happened. And I think that it was wrong of them to keep this event from the community. What do you guys think? Is it wrong to let the community know this event happened, or is it wrong to censor the information? By the way, Reynad later tweeted, "Won't get spotted. Police for understanding. Still dangerous though." So I thought that we should maybe have a little bit of a dialogue about this, because I know that there's been a lot of complaints just around the Hearthstone Reddit in general, with the moderators being a little bit too overzealous with getting rid of threads. But at the same time, what I really wanted to kind of point out here does it actually add any value to letting the community know about this? Like, if I never heard that Reynad put his address up on stream, like, it wouldn't really impact my life or the Hearthstone scene, or like, I don't see how it's an event that we even need to know about. What do you guys, how do you guys see this?
I think it belongs in the Twitch subreddit more than the Hearthstone subreddit, honestly. It's a streamer making a stream mistake, not a Hearthstone player doing something Hearthstone related.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm gonna go to bat here for the mods and say that this was just a decision made because rather than having to go through and read every comment in every single thread to figure out if the address was posted there or not, just get rid of the thread.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think this was a decision made because they're trying to censor this thing. I don't think they're trying to protect anybody here other than just protect, Reynad from having police show up at his house.
Yeah.
And just if you have to make a decision on how do we do this, these are not people who like get paid to be moderators most of the time anyway on Reddit. That's not how it works. So, you're asking people to work as a professional who aren't professionals, aren't getting paid as professionals. And that's just I think it's an unrealistic thing to ask of people who don't get paid to do what they do, to do it as if they're getting paid to do it. They don't. So, they're just doing the best thing that they can, and they come up with the decision that they were doing this. It has nothing to do with censorship as far as I'm concerned. So,
yeah, and I just my point was just that, like, why does the community need to know that it happened? Like, is it really that important? Like,
it's interesting, but it's something people want to talk about. By the way, I mean, the swatting thing is awful. The swatting
well,
thing.
yes.
Like, I've considered, should I even be trying to stream? It kind of sucks because you don't want to ever think about that, right? That I shouldn't, because it's enjoyable. People seem to enjoy my stream. I enjoy streaming for people. It's a way that I can interact with people. It sucks to ever think that it could turn into something where somebody who's just a complete tool thinks that it's funny to send police with guns drawn to my house that might just shoot me. And Reynad would have definitely gotten swatted for sure.
Oh,
That guy gets trolled more than anybody.
Yeah.
Yes. I wonder why.
It's,
well, I mean, the whole swatting thing. I mean, it's terrifying. I remember that time that you and I were streaming Dills, and then we got DDoSed, and that was scary enough. And
And
like,
what was funny is I wasn't getting DDoSed unless the Skype call was happening. Like, I would be fine, and then the Skype call would start, and then I would just get booted off everything.
Yeah.
So it was clear that they were coming in through Skype, and that's a common way to DDoS people because there's not very secure connections right now. Problem with Skype, if you're listening, much like Team 5, fix it. But it's it's a bad thing about streaming. It sucks. I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. But I don't think what the Hearthstone subreddit team was doing there was censorship as much as they were just trying to deal with the situation and protect people involved.
Yeah. Also, it's like, if you want to if it's black and white for you, then I guess technically yes, this is censorship. But if you can acknowledge the existence of a gray area, which is what I always like to do, this isn't even close to important. This isn't like a politician that got elected to some high state of government that's been doing back dealings with high-end drug lords. This is a dude on his computer who accidentally showed his address. And the only one at risk here is the dude on the computer who accidentally showed his address. So if the easiest way to protect that guy is just to delete a thread that is really of no cultural significance, then I say just delete the thread and let everyone move on with their lives.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And there's also another thing that people throw around the word censorship a lot. You're not guaranteed that you can say whatever you want everywhere in life. You're guaranteed that you don't get arrested for it by the U.S. government. That's what censorship means. But you're not guaranteed that your thread on Reddit won't get deleted if they feel like they just want to delete it for any reason at all.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not censorship. It's not the same thing at all.
No one is stopping you from writing Reynad's address on poster board with Sharpie, walking outside and yelling it from a bullhorn.
Sure, I mean, I'll think you're a
ideas,
jerk
Garrett.
if you do
Don't
that.
give them ideas.
No one technically...
but I can think you're a dick if you do that. And, if you say something on a radio show and I am an advertiser on your radio show, I can say, I don't want to advertise on your radio show anymore. That's not censoring someone's freedom of speech at all.
That's
like,
a really
complete difference.
That's
in
a really
the two things.
yeah,
You know?
and that's
And it happens all the time everywhere.
Yeah, that's a very common and good example. It happens in podcasts all the time. I remember in the early days of when Twitch first started getting big and StarCraft kind of blew up, and there were like streamers people were getting mad at, so they would write to the sponsors of the streamers team complaining and saying they should stop sponsoring them. It's just like, why are you doing this? Stop. Complain to their manager. But,
Essentially.
Yeah.
Someone was asking what swatting is. Swatting is when someone who's watching your stream or someone who finds out like a popular streamer's address calls the SWAT team and will essentially say something like they have a hostage in the house or something like that. Something that will get the SWAT team to gear up and show up at your house and essentially break in and try to defuse a situation that's not even happening.
Yeah.
And the big issue here is, like, first of all, you're wasting public funds, which is terrible because it's not cheap to get a SWAT team to go out and do what they do. But also, if you're not conducting illegal activity and suddenly a bunch of loud people burst into your house, you may not hear that they identified themselves as a SWAT team or police, and you may come out thinking you're getting burgled or something, and then you die. They shoot you.
It is honestly
it's terribly dangerous.
Yeah, swatting is. I find it horrendously terrifying. Like I grew up in the South. Everyone here's got guns. I cannot believe we haven't heard of an instance of swatting where someone got shot because they thought they were houses being broken into and they walked out with their gun ready to get rid of the burglar. Like,
It's gonna happen one of these days.
It's horrifying. It is one of the most awful things I have ever heard of on the internet, and that's saying something because, folks, it's the internet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, it's just terrible. And then people, like the type of people who do this, come back and say on their Twitter, like, "Oh, I think it's funny." And it's just so clearly, like, there's just people out there who just don't get it and don't understand. And there's you can't really do much about getting rid of those people. So the best thing you can do is just try. Like, if you're the moderators of our Hearthstone, you're just going to try your best to not allow Reynad to get swatted and not have his information get out there. And that's really all they were doing. So. And I have like no issue with them doing that if that's what they deem the appropriate course of action.
Neither. If the tools wouldn't be there for moderators to even do that, if that shouldn't be done in certain occasions. I definitely think that this is an occasion that it is called for.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yep. Weird stuff. Screw swatters. They're a tiny minority, definitely not representative of the internet at large. So
Splice Stream says best thing you can do, prosecute those people. Hell yeah.
You're damn right, and it's starting to happen.
It really should be.
It is starting to happen. So death to swatter. Well, not death, but
God,
appropriate punishment to swatters.
That just doesn't have the same ring to it. Okay.
All right.
Oh my God.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you say things and it's live to hard drive, and you wish you could take it back. So I'm going to censor it and edit it out of the final show.
There you go.
No, I'm totally going to leave that in because I'm just kidding. Everyone, calm.
So, sorry, Caleb's in the chat. He says, "I guess I'm wrong, but you're not wrong. You just had, I think, just a take on it that we don't have. It doesn't, it's opinion. There's no right or wrong here.
Yeah.
You have an opinion. We have an opinion.
Yeah, no,
so don't worry about it, man.
Again, just my take on it. Like you said, I'm not coming down on Caleb by any means.
No. And I don't think Caleb is on the side of swatting. He's just on the side of leaving threads
he's
up
on the
Reddit.
side of open discussion.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
And Caleb, by the way, the programmer, is old school freaking like StarCast listener. I remember getting emails from the programmer back in like we just hit double digits on StarCast like 4 years ago. So thank you for continuing to listen to my ramblings. I appreciate it. That's going to do it for this week's show. It was a slightly shorter show than usual. Not that much shorter. It was a light week. It's Black Rock Mountain. It's out. It's done. Nothing new on the horizon yet. So it's going to be like this for a bit, I would assume. Got a new Hunter deck. Even though
Yeah, we'll hear about something soon, though, don't you think?
Oh, I think so.
I would assume
It's
so.
got to be coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has to be. So, anyways, as always, got to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/TAC. You guys are just awesome. Thank you so much for supporting the show. If you want to become a TAC patron, that gives you access to the Skype account for our patron call-in episode, which we are doing next week, as well as the after show video. You get it before everyone else. So go check that out. This week, I want to thank the following patrons. Thanks to Justin W. Thank you to Rob J, Joey L, Nate N, and Igor S. Thank you guys so much. Very, very much. And also, if you're leaving us iTunes reviews, we really appreciate those as well. So thanks this week to Fine, I'll Leave a Review. Love that. Yeah.
Best.
Also
name
left a
ever.
review for Into the Nexus, so thank you. I feel like he's trying to say something. Thank you to Minion1390. Thank you to Cliffy God. Thank you to Jackalope Ashley, who wrote
So hot.
And thank you to the real Goofy Monkey, who says Dill swears, Jocelyn is too polite, and Garrett's hair is ridiculous. But it all works great.
Hey now, Jocelyn sweared twice in this episode already, and I haven't done
did,
it one
I know.
time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the biggest swear.
I was about to say,
it was
granted,
like
none
a
of them,
medium swear.
none of
It was a
them
medium-sized
were
swear?
bleep worthy.
Okay.
By the way, everyone, I love all of the fan letters we've been getting about last week's outro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
people
glad
loved
you.
it,
I'm glad
apparently.
you enjoyed it.
I'm glad. Like, I was worried that some people were going to be really pissed, but apparently nobody was really pissed. So, thank you. I guess.
It's fine. It was bleeped on the podcast version, and
Sure.
and it was age restricted on the YouTube version. So
Sure. There you
proceed
go.
with caution. As always, the Anger Check-In is a production of amove.tv and frogpants.com. All of our past live shows and other videos can be found over at youtube.com/starcastshow. Get the Angry Chicken t-shirt on slashloot.com. Follow us on Twitter at TAC Podcast. We are live every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/amovetv or over at alphageekradio.com. And big thanks to BrianGriffithMusic.com for our intro song. Dills, when you're trying really hard not to drop the F-bomb, because it's all you do, man,
It is pretty much all I do, yeah.
where can people find you also dropping the F-bomb?
You can find me on my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/WillyDillsSF. Be streaming a little bit later this week. I was not around much this weekend until like the very end of the night and rather drunk. So some of those streams were awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed them. But I probably should stop doing that because I'm just dead tired now. This next week is going to be rough. But I am going to power through a couple more things. I can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. D-Day's in the house. He's in San Francisco. So tomorrow night, if you're in the Bay Area, come out to SF Game Night at Folsom Street Foundry. 7 o'clock or so. Get there a little earlier. They open the doors at 6. And we're doing a Magic draft. So it's $15. Standard 3-card or 3-pack Magic draft.
3-card
prizes.
That'd be a
Yeah,
short.
3 cards. Pick a card. Oh, I got 3 lands. Damn it. But we're gonna do 3, like a standard. I think it's 2 packs of Fate Reforged and 1 of Dragons of Tarkir, which is I think what you're supposed to be doing now, right, or something like that.
I
So-
actually haven't played any dragons. I've
okay.
had no time for Magic lately. So
But yeah, definitely come by. Even if you don't play, just come by and hang out. We have 8 spots. 4 or 5 of them are taken, but we have 3 more. If you really want to get your spot, maybe tweet at me so I can try to up you up on the list there. But we're expecting that even if people don't come, we'll be able to fill the remaining 3 spots pretty easily. Also, yeah, we play Hearthstone all the time, all that kind of stuff. So come by, hang out. I'm there every week.
Sweet. Jocelyn, what about you?
You can find me right here on AMove TV every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for The Gamers In, which is our general gaming podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at GISGamer, and it's the same on Twitch. And I have been streaming a little bit more, at least 3 times a week. So come check it out. It's a ton of fun.
You may find Garrett in there playing heroes and bossing everyone around, even though nobody asked him to.
You know what, Garrett? I do the same thing. I can't help it. Like, we're playing a team game, I can't help but just
Jocelyn's chat room,
start saying to do stuff.
They were going off. They're just like, I bet Garrett was a raid leader at one point. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
It's good,
you are
though,
correct.
because I still, like I said, I think I mentioned last week or the week before, like, I don't know what I'm doing in terms of, like, where I'm supposed to go in Heroes. So it's good to have somebody be like, Jocelyn, you need to be here. Like, all right, I'm on it.
All right.
I need the direction.
It's just a role I naturally just like click into, and then after the fact, I feel like a trick. I'm like, I bet everyone was annoyed with me. I shouldn't have done that. But it's like I can't help it when I'm in the heat of the game. So I don't know.
But somebody should do it. And I've played. Now I'm doing some Heroes League and stuff, and you get in there, and sometimes nobody takes charge, and it's not good. It's much better to have someone take charge and give you wrong ideas than to have nobody do it.
Yeah, committing to a bad idea is better than not committing at all, especially in Heroes.
Yeah. And everybody being all over the place doing whatever the hell they want to do.
Yep.
Rather than all in one place doing something,
Yep.
whatever it might be.
Yep, absolutely. I made a very bad call in that one game when I was like, let's get the bruisers. And then the other 4 people that were alive just came in and wiped us. And I was like, yeah, that was a bad call. I shouldn't have.
Sorry.
And after the fact, I'm looking at that game, I'm just like, I've been in this scenario before. And every other scenario, I would have said, all right, let's retreat ASAP. But for whatever reason, I just had bloodlust. I was like, get the bruisers, keep pushing, kill these bastards. And it did not work out. So,
Oh, well. There's always next time.
yep. Anyways, you can follow me on Twitter at Garrett Art, 2 R's, 2 T's, and Garrett, 1 R, 1 T in art. I feel the need to specify that now. You can also go to nomoonart.com for my graphic design portfolio, and you can check out Into the Nexus, the Heroes of the Storm podcast, which I do every Thursday night right here on twitch.tv/amovetv with Mr. Kyle Ferguson, talking about Heroes of the Storm. And I'll probably talk about that incredibly bad call I made in Jocelyn's game this week.
Yeah, it's all your fault.
Or I may act like it never happened.
Sure.
A lot more likely
that.
that'll probably be the case.
You always threaten to talk about me and my heroes play on Into the Next.
Yeah, and then things happen like a massive patch that's like novel length. And I'm like, no time to just chat
Rip into
nonchalantly
Jocelyn.
about Jocelyn. You know, your Lily has come a very long way. You're a very competent support now. So
Thank you.
yeah, doing good. Now we need to branch out and teach you how to kill people instead of how to heal people.
But I like healing.
And if the NSA is listening, we're talking about a video game, not
Yeah.
actual people.
Oh man, some of the comments I made when my Nemesis quest was humans was pretty bad, taken out of context.
It's the new script for the next season of Hannibal, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Before we go, check out our sponsors, doghouse-systems.com. They make amazing gaming rigs. You can use the code TAC to get a free 120 gigabyte solid-state drive added onto your already amazing rig. So go check them out, because every time that code is used, not only do you get a free solid-state drive, I also knock things off of my desk by talking with my hands, and you support the show in the process. So we thank them for the support. We thank you all for listening. But until next week, job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yes!